Well, I hope this video finds you doing well today. We have been putting out some videos or posting some videos on our YouTube page the past week or so during this whole time of being having to stay at home because of the coronavirus. And so on Thursdays, so we've been doing this on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, but on Thursdays, what we decided we're going to look at together is the fruit of the Spirit. We introduced that last Thursday, and so today is going to be the first day we kind of look at the first word that Paul used in Galatians chapter 5, which you'll find the fruit of the Spirit, Galatians 5:22 through 23, if you want to look at that. The first word that he used to describe the fruit of the Spirit is love. And so the passage that I'm going to use to talk about love is 1 Corinthians 13, verses 1 through 8. So if you want to pause the video right now, this would be a good time to pause it, look that passage up and read it, and then come back and hit play, and we'll talk about it a little bit. So love is, I think, if anything self-evident to us, it probably is that we were built for love. You just think about the songs and the music that we listen to, the stories that we enjoy, the books we read, the movies we watch. They're filled with love. Our hopes and our dreams that we have revolve around love. You could even think about what it is in life that has most hurt you, most disappointed you, what you have the most regrets about. And it usually is about love being lost or denied or rejected, something like that. And what that shows us is that we're really built for love, that we're made to love and to be loved. And so in that passage in 1 Corinthians chapter 13, I want to just give you four ideas from that passage, just to talk about a definition of love. What is love? And the very first thing I want to mention is that love is sacrificial service. Love is other-centered. That's what that first part of what he's talking about in 1 Corinthians 13 when he gets to all the love is stuff, right? Love is patient. It sacrificially suffers with and for people. Love is kind and not rude. It doesn't think of itself first, but it thinks of others first. In the same way, love is not arrogant and doesn't boast. And finally, Paul says love doesn't insist on its own way, or you could also translate that love isn't self-seeking. Love always defers to the other. Love always defers to the needs and the concerns of others. There's this famous scene, it's an old movie, but the first night with Richard Gere, and it's about King Arthur, and there's this famous scene where the knights are sitting around King Arthur's round table, and the camera comes in from up top and zooms in on the table, and there's an inscription that it zooms in on the table that's running around the table, and the inscription says, "In serving one another, we become free." And this is exactly what the Bible says, that this really is true freedom. To live for yourself is a painful slavery, but to live for others is real freedom, because this is what you were made for. You were designed to love. You were designed to not think of yourselves first, but to think of others first. All right. So second, love is costly forgiveness. Paul writes in this passage that love is not irritable, that love is not easily provoked to anger. It's not resentful. It keeps no record of wrongs. Love avoids bitterness. It's not bitter. Love sets people free with forgiveness. It never rejoices with evil or rejoices in wrongs, because Love seeks for redemption and reconciliation and restoration. When I was in college, I was a biology major. And the one class I think that did me in was microbiology, because in microbiology you're getting out all the microscopes and you're looking at all these small things, the bacteria and viruses and funguses and those kind of things. And I remember in class, part of our labs were usually we'd take a Q-tip or something like that and we'd swab something like piece of chicken or some kind of food item, and then we would take that swab and we would transfer it into a petri dish and we'd come back and see what grew on it. And man, I tell you what, I still can't eat leftovers to this day from what I saw under that microscope. And right now, I'm thinking about that because we are living in such close quarters with one another, with our families maybe, or with your roommates, or whatever the case may be. And we're up close and we see the brokenness of others' lives. And I want to encourage you in this to think about love. Love keeps no record of wrongs. Love isn't bitter. Love isn't easily irritated and provoked to anger. What does it look like to love? Are you forgiving freely and setting others free around you? All right, third, love is enduring consistency. Love always protects, always believes or trusts, always hopes, always endures. I don't know if you caught it, but there's a key word there. It's the word always, right? Love, and here's what I want to say about this, just real simple. Love in the Bible is not a feeling. I know we talk about love a lot as if love was just an emotion, but in the Bible, love is always a verb. It's an action. It never gives up on others. It keeps on hoping. It perseveres. It's always faithful. So love is, what do we got? Love is sacrificial service. It's costly forgiveness, and it is enduring consistency. But the last thing I want us to think about is how love is a person. Paul wasn't just musing abstractly about the concept of love and then putting pen to paper. In fact, you just think about his description. He says, love is patient, love is kind, love is not easily angered. And there's a couple of reasons that Paul is doing this, but there's one primary reason that I want to highlight for us. And it's that Paul is taking love and he is personifying it. Love is a person in this passage as he's describing it. It's like Paul is describing a person, and that puts love in very concrete, tangible terms. But the bigger reason is that love, ultimately, Paul is saying, ultimately, love is Jesus. He's thinking of Jesus. He's thinking of Jesus who loves sacrificially, who loves and forgives us of all our wrongdoing, who loves us and is perfectly consistent and faithful to us. And so here's the key, really, I think, to becoming a loving person. The key to becoming a loving person is to recognize you cannot love like this until you've been loved like this. So what you really need to do here is spend some time reflecting and meditating upon the love of Jesus for you, that he loves you just like this, sacrificially, forgiving, and consistently. And the more that gets into your heart, and the more that you understand that and appreciate that yes, Jesus came, and he gave up his life for me. He died on the cross to forgive me. He promises me that he will be with me to the very end of the age. He is always faithful to his promises to redeem his people. And the more that gets into your heart and becomes real to your heart, the more your heart begins to overflow to others, begins to overflow in sacrifice, in forgiveness, and in consistency. So I hope that's an encouragement to you today as you are at home, staying home, and we'll see you again next week for another series of devotions. Again, just check our website on the resources page or our YouTube page. Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays we'll be posting these videos for you. Thanks. Have a good day. All right. Bye-bye.